Who's in the box?
Who's in the chair?
And who's at the end?
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig, and this week we're finishing up our series of 4 movies that we've owned for a long time, and by we, I mean I've owned all of them.
So far, yeah.
Well, it's the last one
Exactly.
in this series, so
Perfect.
all of them.
So far.
Always has to get the last word in, even if it's a dumb word. Anyway,
Yeah.
Could you shut up and let me finish?
Yes.
Anyway, well, quickly, actually, let me say the answers to those questions. So go back and line these up. Chucky, Nika, and Andy. But anyway, now, basically, these were 4 movies, the last 4 that we've reviewed, that I've owned for a long time, and for some reason, we just hadn't watched. Couple of them, it was because we feared watching them because it's like, they might not be good. And then there was a couple where we just had no idea, like Ghost Ship, or not Ghost Ship,
13
Ghosts, where it's like
and
everybody
Ghost
we
Ship.
knew owned them and nobody we knew watched them. And it's like, where did these come from? Did they magically appear on everybody's shelves? Why does everyone have it?
Right.
And then recently we brought that up to people and everyone said, we've all watched those.
Yeah,
So that's weird.
They acted like we were insane.
I mean, we are.
But none of
that's
those
separate.
people owned them, so
Aha.
I'm going to go with the It's a Ghost.
But anyway, the main reason we hadn't watched Curse of Chucky is because
We're really bad
Seed
at
of
our
Chucky,
job.
No, Seed of Chucky was awful.
It was just the worst.
And everyone said, oh, they got back to it and it's more serious and not all like stupid slapstick and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I didn't mind that in Bride, but they went too far in Seed and it just had no real jump scares or any scares. Not that we get scared watching horror movies
No.
anymore, but like I know what
We can feel tension, though.
Yeah, and there really just wasn't and there-
anything good in that movie.
So we put it off just based on worry.
We held against it something that we shouldn't have necessarily.
But basically, here's the premise. There's a doll. There's a serial killer. Serial killer is about to die, uses voodoo, puts himself in a doll. Now he has to find a little kid and transfer his soul into that.
No.
Well, originally. That was
Yeah,
the deal.
originally in the first one. In this one, he's already in the doll.
Right, and he has to put himself in a kid. Like, that's literally what he
But
tries to do.
He didn't put himself into the
a
doll
girl
in this
this
movie,
time instead of a boy.
which is good.
I mean, I guess. I mean, it's not good when an adult tries to put themselves...
Inclusion.
Never mind, I'm not going to finish that statement.
Inclusion.
But anyway, that's the basic premise. It's another Chucky movie. And why don't we roll the trailer?
Who's it from?
It doesn't say.
You found him.
Chucky's my friend till the end. Hey, wanna play? Can't we sleep in with you tonight?
It's only a storm.
Good night, baby. Sweet dreams.
Don't forget Chucky.
It's a doll. What's the worst that can happen, huh?
It's time to play.
All right. So yeah, basically it's another
Chucky movie,
yeah.
which is cool.
That's the people.
Yes.
Okay, make sure you have the right.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry. Show prep. We couldn't have done that while the cameras were off. But before we get into the behind-the-scenes information, what we really got to do is pay some bills. And how do we do that? By pimping ourselves out to anybody who'll back up a truckload of money to our house. And then we tell you all about these actual things that truly exist and you can really buy. And this week, the Brinks truck backed up to get us to proselytize these things. Gory Storytime is brought to you by Death Dash, the service that sends a killer to the door of your enemies. When they open the door, well, that's completely up to you. Should they do a home invasion, tie them up, and take them out? Maybe you want to watch it on a live feed. However you like it, we got you covered. We understand that in a post-COVID world, you might not feel safe murdering your enemies in person. Death Dash understands. Death Dash is not able to take out those in state's custody or under surveillance at this time, though.
Okay. And by how to screw over your family for fun and profit. Does a relative have something that you want? Maybe your grandma passed away and left your sister something special because she's the oldest. Or your brother has a nice family with a dog in his own house just because he's responsible and doesn't turn off women. This book will give you step-by-step instructions on how to take what they have just because they earned it and make it your own. That's How to Screw Over Your Family for Fun and Profit. Order now and get a free Kiss My Ass Mom bumper sticker.
All right.
Now, the meat and beef of the show.
Yes, the meat and the beef of the show, as he likes to say. Behind the scenes, what do you got?
I've got, this film is written and directed by Don Mancini, who created the franchise and wrote the first 7 films. That can't be right. Because there were 4. This is number 6. This is number 6 because Seed was 5.
Right. So someone added this after Cult came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nika is the first main character of the franchise to be in a wheelchair.
Correct. In the flashback scene, everything is in black and white except the flowers that Charles Lee Ray brings for Sarah, which are shown in color. These are the same sort of flowers that Sarah is shown as painting at the start of the film. When Barb goes into the attic, she finds a large collection of paintings of these same flowers.
This is Summer H. Howell's debut.
Chucky says to Nika, "I'm gonna get you," is similar to the way he said the line in the original movie. He threatened Detective Mike Norris by saying, "I'm going to get you, and I'm going to get Eddie no matter what."
Chucky states twice in this film that he's an atheist.
Now Playing podcast reviewed Curse of Chucky. This film received 3 recommends.
And then there's a lot of spoilers apparently here. For the final scene between Chucky and Alice, Summer H. Howell was so scared of the Chucky puppet that the one without the scars had to be used. The scars were digitally added.
Oh, wow. During the scene after the credits in Andy's apartment, a photo of Kyle, the woman who helps defeat Chucky from Child's Play 2, can be seen next to a certificate from the military school Andy attended in Child's Play 3. And next to that is the original photo of Andy and his mother from the first movie.
This marks the return of the original protagonist, Andy Barclay. Alex Vincent played Andy in Child's Play and Child's Play 2. He was featured in archive footage in Child's Play 3 as a child, but portrayed as a teenager in that film by Justin Whalen. Andy is referenced in the beginning of Bride of Chucky in a newspaper article referenced in commentary by Chucky in Seed of Chucky.
Though not seen, Andy's mother is mentioned by Andy, and it is assumed she is either married or in a relationship with Mike Norris, who is also mentioned. It is also implied that Karen got cleared between the second film and this one.
The first film in the franchise where Chucky actually wins. He successfully gets revenge on Nika's family, killing almost all of them except Alice and Nika herself, and frames Nika for his crimes, causing her to be sent to a mental institution.
After Tiffany kills Officer Stanton, she says they never learned. This is a reference to Tiffany's killing the officer Bailey in Bride of Chucky, when she slashed his throat with her nail file before he could take a peek at Chucky's remains, similarly smuggled from evidence.
The original rated version of the film, which also serves as the TV edition, marks the only time in the entire series that Chucky is alive at the end of the movie. In all previous films, Chucky was always dispatched by his adversaries in the finale. However, the unrated cut includes an extra scene after the credits. In the post-credit scene, which is set 6 months after the canonical ending, the events are retconned and the tradition is maintained.
Oh. When Jill is being electrocuted, the burning that takes place on her face is around her right eye, mirroring the damage Chucky had shown around his in the previous 2 films. Then, later in this film, when it's discovered that this new and clean Chucky doll has used prosthetics to cover the damage he's incurred over the film series.
This movie has several moments that pay homage to the original Child's Play film. One being that Nika cuts his head off, Chucky's body reassembles itself and begins to attack again. Also, in the final scene with Chucky and Alice, the scene with the police officer and Tiffany, etc., etc.
Andy shoots Chucky with a 12-gauge Remington 870 pump-action shotgun.
Although Tiffany goes along with Chucky's scheme to kill Sarah and stalk the Pierce family, it's never really established if she knew of Chucky's infatuation/obsession.
The expression of shock and horror on Sarah's face following her death indicate that Chucky revealed to Sarah that he was in fact Charles Lee Ray, whom she believed to be dead.
And when Chucky electrocutes Jill to death, a huge burn appears on her right eye. Well, that's good that we used the same fact twice.
Yeah, whoopsie.
Never mind.
Okay.
Now for the Rotten Tomatoes scores. Rotten Tomatoes, for those who don't know, because I like saying this every time, just because you never know if it's a first episode for somebody. They don't actually rate the movies. What they do is they take a amalgamation of all the
verified critics.
Yeah, like the ones they consider verified, so we're not on it. Trust me. But it'd be nice, but no. More people would have to watch.
More people would have to watch.
Spread this like wildfire. Anyway, so they just take all the positive reviews and all the negative reviews. They start with 100%, and if, say, 33 out of 100 say it's good, then it's 33%. If 72 out of 100 say it's good, like, it's, you can't get mad if you make a movie and Rotten Tomatoes gives it a low score. It's not them giving it a low score. It's the score that's out there.
Yep.
It's the percentage of people that think positively. And the critics have this one at
76%.
And they also have a spot on Rotten Tomatoes where you can vote positive or negative, and they get a percentage from the people, and the people have it at 56. It is very rare that the people have a horror movie lower than the critics, unless there's something super woke in there.
True.
Because that will bump it up with the critics, because they love to pretend they care about people.
And it'll bump it down with the fans because it makes a not as good movie.
Not necessarily.
Sometimes.
It depends on how it's done. If it's done overtly
like
just to wedge it in.
If it's done like Get Out,
everybody
likes it.
Right. Or if it's done, like, this didn't really seem to have that, though. Unless you count the girls in a wheelchair.
Ooh, woke.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. I don't think that's it. But anyway, what was your favorite scene? Or do you want to go least favorite first? It's up to you. We alternate back and forth. We never know.
I think I'm going to go with least first.
Okay.
My least favorite thing is... Oh, my goodness.
What?
I thought I even had one too. Let's start with my favorite then,
Okay.
because I'm bad at this apparently.
Yeah, well.
Just the kills in this movie were actually really awesome. The special effects, they were back on point. They were going straight for the blood instead of for the laughs, which
They threw in a
fall flat
couple
in
of
the last
laughs.
one. Right.
But they didn't overdo it like they did in Seed.
Right.
And they were
Absolutely.
heading that way in
Absolutely.
Bride, but didn't cross that threshold. And then Seed, they went overboard, and they pulled it back and went more with horror.
They
so
did.
yeah,
I think
I like that.
I think the kills, I think the brutality in this movie was just phenomenal.
Now, as much as I talk smack about Seed of Chucky, I'm not going to lie. My favorite thing is that as much as a lot of movies these days are trying to do soft reboots, or Halloween is doing sequels to the first one but ignore all the ones in the middle, and there's
there
a
are
lot of
other
things doing
series
that.
that they've been trying
But
to do
Halloween
those
was
same
like the
things
biggest
with.
one.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened here. Everything that happened in 1 through Seed is still
Exists.
canon. Because Tiffany is in the body of Jennifer Tilly,
Which is amazing.
which is something that came from the last movie
Yes.
prior to this. So, like, as much as I don't like that one, I like that it's still everything's canon, and apparently so is the series, which I have to see. But we should watch.
Yeah, I've
Cult
heard it's
first.
good too.
Yeah. So we'll probably get to those eventually, maybe 10 years away from now. But anyway, yeah. So that would be my favorite thing, is that in a way they made it less hated by me that Seed still exists, because they did it in a way that they don't have to have that annoying character that's only there to supposedly make you laugh. But they did it, they still left that canon. So they didn't go, oh, let's pretend we didn't screw up. They're like, oh, we screwed up, so we're going to work around it, but it exists.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely respectable, because
What's your-
Halloween, they just said forget it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess my least favorite thing is that I had to wait so long for Andy.
Yeah. Spoiler
Because-
alert, he's only in the post-credit scene.
And
we know
apparently-
he was in a trailer, not the one that we showed here, but there was a trailer ahead of time that showed him. And it's kind of like when Jurassic Park showed, what's his name? Goldblum.
Yeah.
And then, in
Then he's
Jurassic
in, like,
World,
20 seconds in
and
the
then,
movie.
yeah, he was like in one half scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, what did I just say? That I had to wait for so long to see Andy.
Yeah.
Because going into this movie, and of course the next one, but going into this movie, it was super heavy with the Andy's back. We got Andy. Andy's back. This movie's going to be so good because we have Andy. All right? And apparently, only the unrated version has that post-credit scene.
Which we saw.
Right, because we had the unrated version.
Right.
So
Of course we
for
did.
most people, Andy wasn't back.
I mean, for most people, once it was out on DVD, yes, he was.
For
And
most people, when they
streaming.
saw it in the theater,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
most people didn't see it in the theater. Ha!
Why? In 2017, everything was still open.
I'm not talking about COVID. I'm talking about just in general. Like, horror
dumb.
movies don't usually do great in the theater unless it's something super special. And after Seed, people weren't expecting good things from.
Well, was it
Curse.
straight to video? Or
No,
was it? Okay, I didn't
no.
think so.
Or they wouldn't have a rated and unrated version. They would have
Oh,
just
yeah.
Anyway, my least favorite part, honestly, was the sister. Just her whole character.
Oh my
Now, it
goodness.
works for the movie, so this is me nitpicking. It really
really
is.
is.
Because it works well, because then you're happy when she dies. But, like, you don't like her. You just don't. She's cheating on her husband. She's trying to take the house that her sister's living in away from her because, well, you're in a wheelchair.
You don't need this place.
The mother was also kind of awful, so it was good when she passed.
Yeah.
Like, you don't feel bad for a couple of the dead people because you go, well, yeah, but if it was me, I would want them dead, so...
Yeah, I can think of at least 3 or 4 of the, 5 or 6 people who died in this movie that is like, yeah, good.
Pretty much. But mainly the sister, especially the
yeah,
sister.
especially
But even
the
the mom,
sister.
the mom. It's like a guy starts flirting with the girl in the wheelchair, and her mom's like, well, what do you expect? You're really pretty. And she's like, oh, should I go say something to him? And,
She's like,
well,
what are
absolutely
you,
not. What's wrong with
stupid?
you? You can't go out of the house. You're in a wheelchair. So she goes from trying to pump her up to like, you know that you can't date, right? Because you're broken.
I mean, basically, this is like a minute and a half into
And
the
the
movie.
sister was like, hey, why don't we sell the house? I need money, and then you can live somewhere where they can take care of you because you're broken. And this woman climbs up the stairs with just like her upper body strength.
Does.
Like she didn't really.
And still tries to kick Chucky's ass.
Yeah. Like if there was any woman that didn't need full help, it's her.
Right.
But anyway, all right. What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm thinking I'm going to go an 8 for this movie.
An 8, huh?
An 8 for this movie.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to match you. I'm going to say 8. It's a solid movie. It's not my favorite in the series, but it's not my least favorite in the series.
And I also don't think it's... Well, no. No.
Seed right now doesn't look like even if you include the remake with the
Seed's still the worst.
Seed's still the worst. Like that one wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as this, but like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say 8.
Yeah.
All right. So anything else you got to say before we do all our wrapping up?
Get you a chance to see this movie.
If you haven't.
If you haven't.
Watch them in order because they do matter. Even Seed, sadly.
There's like things. They really care about what's going on in the background of these movies.
Yeah.
For it to come back.
Lots of details.
Like, even in Seed, they had a lot of background details where it's like, oh, wow, that's a reference to a thing that happened.
It's like, oh, wow, there's Redman being all Redman.
Right.
Like, that's not a joke.
That was right up front, though.
Yeah, but that's not a joke.
They had Redman and Method Man
but
because,
it was
get
supposed
it, we have two people whose names are man.
Yeah, but it's like, that should be, well, they also do a lot of stuff together.
Right, but get it?
That wasn't the joke. The joke was, we have Redman and we have Method Man. Not because they have man, it was just, we have them.
Get
Ha-ha! Anyway,
so
now
bad.
let's throw it over to there.
Yes. You can watch this show on Fact TV channel 1076 at Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
You can like us on Facebook. And when I say us, I mean you can like me and my page of Gory Storytime, or our page that I control.
Yes.
Or actually Fact TV, because you know what? They stream this live. They do a lot of stuff.
I mean, if you're watching it currently,
then it's live. If you're not watching, well, no, because if you're watching this on TV,
it's
you're
still
also
current for
watching,
you.
Right.
If you're watching this
on Friday
the 13th, by the way, happy Friday the 13th, by the way.
And our dumbasses did this. Well, we didn't have a Friday the 13th we haven't seen, so we couldn't have done that.
We've reviewed them all too.
Most of them, if not all.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
So.
Next thing?
You could watch this show on factdate.com. You can go to factdate.com and you could look at a bunch of the other shows that they have, a bunch of the back episodes of this. They have a lot of programming on this channel.
You can follow us on the Twitter. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase. And I don't tweet about this show at all.
I am at Jiggly Firm Brain. I only tweet funny things that he says, in or out of context.
Whatever makes it funnier.
Usually not about the show.
Right. Sometimes it's about horror movies, though, because I'll make a comment.
Sometimes it's inspired by a horror movie.
Truth. And then, of course, you can go to my YouTube page, and you can like and subscribe and all that.
Absolutely.
It's Juggalo Jakes. Or if you look for Gory Storytime, you'll find Juggalo Jakes, and you'll find Fact TV has their page, too, their channel. So please give them a like, because,
Absolutely.
you know, and they've got ones that I don't, and I've got ones that they don't. You know, I've got older ones. They have some before we started uploading them.
Absolutely.
So, that's about it, right?
Yes, it is.
So,
until next week with not this topic.
Yeah, I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something better.
We'll probably just do a couple of movies in between anyway.
It could very well happen, yes.
But until then, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and father, Craig, and
Sweet dreams.